gobierno que podrá borrar el deseo de ser libre. Grande es aquel que da su vida por su pueblo. Hubiéramos sido amigos, Emiliano. En mi vida quisiera ser como tú, Zapata. Con amor y valor, mi pueblo, Zapata. Emiliano Zapata. Grande es aquel que da su vida por su pueblo. Hubiéramos sido amigos, Emiliano. Cantando es mi forma de decir cómo te admiro. Y en mi vida quisiera ser como tú, Zapata. Con amor y valor, mi pueblo, Zapata. Emiliano Zapata. Zapata, 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 Zapata. En mi vida quisiera ser como tú, Zapata. Quisiera ser y voy a ser como tú. Con amor y valor, mi pueblo, Zapata. Con amor y valor, Zapata. No podrá matar un sueño. No hay gobierno que podrá borrar el deseo de ser libre. Grande es aquel que da su vida por su pueblo. Hubiéramos sido amigos, Emiliano. En mi vida quisiera ser como tú, Zapata. Con amor y valor, mi pueblo, Zapata. Emiliano Zapata. ser como tú, Zapata. Con amor y valor, mi pueblo Zapata. Emiliano Zapata. Zapata, 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 Zapata. En mi vida quisiera ser como tú, Zapata. Quisiera ser y voy a ser con amor y valor, mi pueblo, Zapata. Con amor y valor, Zapata.
For most of us, thinking is at least somewhat unpleasant. We try to avoid it where possible. For example, I asked these guys, how long does it take for the Earth to go around the Sun?
What do you reckon, cuz?
Is it 24 hours?
Obviously a day, yes.
Or take this problem, which has been given to thousands of college students. You go into a toy store, and there's a toy bat and a toy ball. Together they cost $1.10. And the bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost?
10 cents. We're all wrong, aren't we?
What's the answer? If you think about it for just a second, it's obvious that the ball can't cost 10 cents. Because if it did, then the bat would cost $1.10 and the two items together would cost $1.20. The correct answer is 5 cents. Now the point of these questions is not that they're difficult. Any of these people could have quickly checked their answer if they wanted to. The point is that they don't check. Because thinking is uncomfortable. It takes effort.
Hey, the Earth doesn't take one day to get around the sun. It takes like a year.
Now I think it would be easy to put these mistakes down to stupidity and believe that you, being much smarter, could never fall into such traps. But then I think you'd be fooling yourself. I think these examples reveal blind spots in all of our thinking due to the fundamental way that our brains work. Now, one way of modeling how the brain operates is as though there are two systems at work. Psychologists call them System 1 and System 2, but maybe it's useful to think of them as characters. So let's call System 1 Gun and System 2 Drew. You are Drew. He represents your conscious thought, the voice in your head. I am who you think you are. He's the one capable of following instructions. He can execute a series of steps. If you're asked to calculate 13 times 17 in your head, for example, he's the one who has to do it. Can I just use my calculator? No. All right. 17 times... Drew is lazy. It takes effort to get Drew to do anything, and he is slow. But he's the careful one, capable of catching and fixing mistakes. 221. Now meet System 1, Gun. He is incredibly quick, which he needs to be since he's constantly processing copious amounts of information coming in through your senses. He picks out the relevant bits and discards the rest, which is most of it. And he works automatically, without you, Drew, being consciously aware of what he is doing. For example, when you spot some text, he reads it before you can even decide whether or not you want to read it. Gun fills in the gaps. For example, what does this say? Did you notice that the H in the and the A in cat are actually the same symbol? But you had no trouble reading it because Gunn made the correct automatic assumption. So although Drew is unaware of what Gunn is doing, it's Gunn's perceptions that become the basis for your conscious thoughts. The way I like to think of it, each of these characters is related to one of your main memory structures. Gunn's automatic responses are made possible by long-term memory, the library of experiences you've built up over your lifetime. In contrast, Drew exists entirely within working memory, so he's only capable of holding 4 or 5 novel things in mind at a time. This is perhaps one of the best known findings from psychology, that our capacity to hold and manipulate novel information is incredibly limited, like when trying to remember a string of random numbers.
6, 7, 5, 5, 3, 1.
Yes.
But we are able to overcome these limitations if the information is familiar to us. For example, let me give you 4 random digits, 7, 1, 0, 2. Now these would normally take up most of your working memory capacity just to remember, but if you reverse them, 2017, they are now just one thing, the present year. The process of grouping things together according to your prior knowledge is called chunking, and you can actually hold 4 or 5 chunks in working memory at once. So the larger the chunks, the more information you can actively manipulate at one time. Learning is then the process of building more and bigger chunks by storing and further connecting information in long-term memory, essentially passing off tasks from Drew to Gunn. But in order for this to happen, Drew first has to engage with the information actively and effortfully, often multiple times. For example, when you were first learning to tie your shoelaces, you probably recited a rhyme to help you remember what to do next, using up all your working memory in the process. But after doing it over and over and over again, it gradually became automatic. That is, Drew doesn't have to think about it anymore because Gunn's got it. Musicians and sports stars refer to this as muscle memory, though of course the memory is not in the muscles, it's still in the brain, just controlled by Gunn.
You can practice everything exactly as it is and exactly as it's written, but at just such a speed that you have to think about and know exactly where you are and what your fingers are doing and what it feels like.
Slow, deliberate, conscious practice repeated often enough leads to this. I'd bet 99% of the time what appears to be superhuman ability comes down to the incredible automation skills of Gunn, developed through the painstaking, deliberate practice of Drew. What's interesting is it's actually possible to see how hard Drew is working just by looking at someone. Try this task. I'm going to show you 4 digits. I want you to read them out loud, and then after 2 beats, I want you to say each number back on the beat, but adding 1 to each digit. So as an example, 7291 should be 8302. This is called the add 1 task, and it forces Drew to hold these digits in memory while making manipulations to them. Now it's important to say the numbers back on the beat. Try this one. To make it harder, you can try adding 3 instead of 1. Ready? Now what you're unaware of is that as you're completing this task, your pupils are dilating. When Drew is hard at work, as he is in this task, you have a physiological response, including increased heart rate, sweat production, and pupil dilation. Watch how the pupils of these participants enlarge as they perform the add 1 and add 3 tasks.
4, 3, 9, 7, 2. 5, 4, 0, 8, 3.
Excellent. Nicely done.
Requires a lot of thinking.
I know. That's the point.
6, 9, 1, 6. 7, 0, 2, 7.
When this research was originally carried out, the researchers made a surprising observation. When the participants were not engaged with the task but were just chatting with the experimenters, their pupils didn't really dilate at all. This indicates that the add 1 and add 3 tasks are particularly strenuous for System 2, and that most of our day-to-day life is a stroll for Drew, with most tasks handled automatically by Gunn. Just as we spend a lot of our lives lounging around, our brains spend most of their time doing the mental equivalent. And I don't mean to make that sound like a bad thing. This is how our brains evolved to make the best use of resources. For repetitive tasks, we developed automatic ways of doing things, reserving Drew's limited capacity for things that really need our attention. But in some circumstances, there can be mix-ups. For example, I moved to Australia in 2004, and one of the first things I learned was that to turn the lights on, you flick the switch down. My whole life growing up in Canada, Gun had automated that up means on. So no matter how well I, Drew, knew that down was on in Australia, I would for years continually switch the lights off when entering a room and on when leaving. When Destin learned to ride the backwards bicycle with its steering reversed, it took months to overcome his automated habit. And once he had done that, he couldn't easily go back to riding a normal bike. Understanding Gun and Drew also explains errors in the bat and ball question. It's Gun who first perceives the key pieces of information, that together the bat and ball cost $1.10, the bat costs $1 more than the ball, so the ball costs 10 cents.
10 cents.
Gun immediately had an answer that he blurted out automatically. Meanwhile, Drew, without being consciously aware that the answer came from Gun, endorsed the idea without checking it. After all, the answer sounded reasonable and Drew is lazy. So how do you get Drew to do more work? Well, researchers have found at least one way. When they gave out a clearly printed test, including the bat and ball question, to incoming college students, 85% got at least one wrong. But when they printed the test in a hard-to-read font with poor contrast, the error rate dropped to 35%. A harder-to-read test resulted in more correct answers. And the explanation for this is simple. Since Gun can't quickly jump to an answer, he hands off the task to Drew, who then invests the required mental effort to reason his way to the correct answer. When something is confusing, Drew works harder, and when Drew works harder, you're more likely to reach the right answer and remember the experience. This is something I think the advertising industry knows about and is using to its advantage. A few years ago, again in Australia, I saw a giant billboard that had just 2 letters on it. Un. There was no logo, no indication of what it was for, and this seems to go against all the basic principles of advertising, to show what the product does, how it's better than the competition, and use clear branding and maybe a jingle to make it memorable. The goal is usually to make the message as easy to understand as possible, so Drew doesn't have to work very hard. But if you look at a lot of effective advertising today, it's changed to be more confusing. As the Un campaign rolled out across Sydney, I saw ads like this one in bus shelters. Unexplained. With Un, there is no stress, just unstress. No hassle, just unhassle. With Un, you can undo what you did. You can undrive through the car wash with the window down, or unbreakdance in front of your teenage son and his mates. Un makes life relaxing and unreal. Un your life. Be happy and live for now. Don't worry, unworry. Can you guess what the ads were for? They're actually for insurance. Now that advertising is everywhere, Gun is skilled at filtering it out. It's automatic. If I just saw another insurance ad, I never would have given it a second thought. But something that doesn't make sense? That's something Gun can't deal with, so he hands it off to Drew. This same realization has been happening in education. Lectures, which have long been the dominant teaching method, are now on the decline. Like the old form of advertising, they're too easy to tune out. And often, especially in science lectures, too many new pieces of information are presented, and that exceeds Drew's capacity because he doesn't have big enough chunks to break the material into. In place of lectures, universities are introducing workshops, peer instruction, and formats where students are forced to answer more questions, do more work than just listen and take notes. And this will undoubtedly make Drew work harder, which is good because that's how learning happens. But a lot of students don't like it because it requires more effort. Just as it's hard to motivate someone to get off the couch and exercise, it's hard to get Drew to give his full effort. There's an appeal to doing things you already know, for the musician to play the same familiar songs that Gun has already automated that feel and sound good, to watch videos that give you the sensation of understanding without actually learning anything, to always drive with the GPS on so you never get lost but you also never learn the way. If you really want to learn and get better at anything, have any chance of becoming an expert, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. Because thinking takes effort. It involves fighting through confusion, and for most of us, that's at least somewhat unpleasant.
The world is divided into many, many different categories, but one of the categories which interests those of us who are concerned with advancing humanity the most is that between the conscious and the unconscious. This division between the conscious and the unconscious must be properly understood. The people instinctively love freedom, and they will instinctively fight for freedom. But you cannot win freedom on instincts. You can only win freedom on reason. Therefore, the unconscious are those who react on instinct. The conscious are those who react on reason. The job of the conscious is to make the unconscious conscious. Ours is not to teach the people to be conscious, but to make them conscious of their unconscious behavior. Our task is not to teach the conscious to teach the unconscious to be conscious, but to make them conscious of their unconscious behavior. Because unconsciously, instinctively, they seek freedom. What we must do is make them conscious. Look, you want freedom anyway. Let's be serious. Let's sit down. Let's plan it. Let's wage protracted war, and let's tear down the system and walk on to liberation. It's as simple as that. This aspect of the unconscious becoming conscious is linked to mobilization and organization, something we mentioned last year. We must make clear distinctions between mobilizers and organizers. To be an organizer, you must be a mobilizer. But being a mobilizer doesn't make you an organizer. Much confusion is to be found here. Malcolm X was a great mobilizer. He was a great organizer. Martin Luther King was a great mobilizer. He was not a great organizer. These facts can be easily seen from King and Malcolm. When Malcolm went to a place, he left a mosque. When King went to demonstrations, he broke down desegregation and he moved on. As a matter of fact, King was not concerned with organization to the point that even though he was the most popular Baptist preacher in America, without the shadow of a doubt, and probably, beyond the shadow of a doubt, the most loved, he could not become president of the National Baptist Convention. Yeah, so many of them. The National Baptist Convention. As a matter of fact, if my memory serves me correctly now, and I remember it was Muhammad Speaks that carried the article on the front page in 1964, when King tried to become president of the National Baptist Convention. There was so much confusion there that a minister was actually pushed off the stage and died in the struggle. Yeah. And of course, King lost. The man who won was a reactionary man by the name of Jackson. He never did nothing for the people, never cared about the people, just was a pork chop minister who used their money to put gas in his big Cadillac. But he was organized. We say that we must come to know the difference between mobilization and organization because the enemy will use mobilization to demobilize us. Mobilization is very easy, very, very easy. Because since we're people who are instinctively ready to respond against acts of injustice, anytime there's one little act of injustice, we can blow it up and we'll find people who come and make some mass demonstration around it. Miss Sally lost her job. Let's rally. She will get her job back. People will come and rally. So-and-so got kicked out of school because the teacher's unjust. The people will come and rally. They will come to rally at issues. And this is what mobilization does. It mobilizes people around issues. Those of us who are revolutionary are not concerned with issues. We're concerned with the system. The difference must be properly understood. The difference must be properly understood. Mobilization usually leads for reform action, not to revolutionary action. If we would look scientifically at the October 16th million and more march, we would see clearly that this was a mobilized event, not an organized event. We must know clearly the difference between mobilization and organization. One of the characteristics of mobilization is that it is temporary. Organization is permanent and eternal. Clear differences must be made because the unconscious can usually be captured easily around one-issue items, around mobilization items, but it's hard to catch them around organization. But these unconscious must be brought to organization. We must transform mobilization to organization. We say the enemy will come and use mobilization to demobilize us. Many brothers and sisters who've been to the Million and More March will say to you, I was there. Well, what are you doing today, my sister? I was there. There weren't too many sisters out there, but you know, with 1 million brothers together, you know where I had to be. I was there. Yes. And then, of course, you find brothers, yeah, I was there. I helped you. What are you doing today, brother? If we're not careful, we allow mobilization to become events. The struggle is never an event. It's a process, a continual, eternal process. This belief comes from the fact that capitalism tells us that, well, you can be scientific about everything except human nature. That people are so different, they have such different tastes, such different ta-la-la-la, that you can't bring them together under the same roof. This is a lie. We will never tire of saying it. Capitalism does not lie some of the time. It lies all of the time. When it tells the truth, it's a result of a double lie. It's a logical fact. It's a logical fact. So capitalism has this belief that you can't organize all the people around the same thing. That's not true. You can organize all the people around one thing, truth.
Ready for Revolution. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How to finance your freedom. This is the 90-day run to wealth, everyone. Glad to see everybody. We're going to go to a couple of slides in a minute, but I just want to chop it up a little bit. We're going to chop it up a little bit. Glad to see everyone on the stream. And the reason why those clips were repeated from this morning, because they're very important to the mindset that we have to have when we strive to build wealth. So I want to welcome all of you in YouTube land. Some of you are joined on from the live share on LinkedIn and Facebook. It's not on Facebook, but it's live sharing, directing everyone to YouTube. Okay, so I want to thank you for the opportunity of this open house, the 90-day run to wealth, and we'll explain a little bit of it, and we'll share some inherent principles that are absolutely necessary in order for us to be all we need to be for our legacy, for our wealth building. So this is the open house we do each 30 days. We do an open house. We actually had 4 as opposed to 3 in this 90-day run cycle. We have 6 days left to it. This is day 84 of the 90-day run. And there are a lot of things that we accomplish. There's a lot of things that we forget. There are a lot of things that we say we'll catch up on. All those nuances are important. I don't want anyone to beat themselves down if they find that they have not done certain things they desire to do after hearing a presentation on a particular day and just not moving out on it. All of that is part of the psychic that we have to develop. We have to develop ourselves to be intentional. We have to develop ourselves to be intentional. You know, you heard my father say how organization, the #1 factor of organization, and one of the clear signs, mobilization, one of the clear signs that it's not organization is that it's temporary. It's temporary. You see, so we're accustomed to rallying around events. We're accustomed to rally around calls. All right. So we'll all show up for a show, a concert, a game. We'll all show up for a rally, a protest. You know, we'll all show up, and we may even show out a little bit. But when the energy's gone, many times so are we. When the moment expires, many times so do we. And one of the definitions that Mr. Best gives often about character, and those who don't know who I'm talking about, speaking of Mr. Tyrone Best, CEO and founder of Wealth Builders Worldwide, this culture that helped to produce the new reality, the new norm that we're growing into. Oftentimes he talks about, he defines character. And character is that thing that you determined to do, and you eventually do it when the moment is gone, when the moment has passed, and you still maintain the quest to do that thing. That speaks to character. Okay. And so in our desire to be intentional, it involves character development. It involves a belief and an attitude. And when those things are honed in on, then we come closer to achieving. In the first clip you saw in the conversation about conscious and unconscious, in that first clip, you learned the two functions of the brain, how the unconscious or the subconscious draws all the information in via its sensors, whatever sensors that are utilized, whatever brings information or brings attention to this powerful muscle is there. Even when we say, oh, I didn't see that. No, you didn't see it consciously, but subconsciously you saw it. I never picked up on that point. You didn't pick up on it consciously, but subconsciously it was picked up on. The subconscious gathers all the information, but the conscious deals with the rationale of the information. So we become more deliberate, and we have to work harder, you see? So example, if you have a multiplication problem, it was given in the video there. If you have a multiplication problem, the subconscious doesn't solve it. The subconscious delegates. It moves it right on over to the conscious, and the conscious has to deliberate over it. It has to be intentional. And it only has the capacity to deal with so much at a time, the conscious, the aware, okay? So when we wealth build, we have to wealth build with intention, because wealth building is permanent, it's eternal. That's the difference about just getting money and wealth building. Huge difference. That difference speaks volumes to our intentions, our desires. So you hear all this common talk out here lately. I got to get this bag. I hear that a lot. I got to get this bag. I got to do X, Y, and Z. And I got to get the cheese. I got to get the loot. I got to get the money. I got to make it. Okay. I get that part. However, when we speak like that, we're literally living in the moment. In the moment. And it's not something that's long lasting because there's no plan, definitive plan behind it. The other thing about memory, and we'll close out on this point. The other thing about memory is thinking, is that when you recall in the presentation, when he cited how people are used to or accustomed to the same shows, the same concerts, hearing certain things played over and over. Why? Because we're comfortable, we're in a zone. It's very hard for many of us to digest a new record or a new composition or read a new book, because we're comfortable where we are. We're comfortable in our understanding. It's temporary, it's temporal, okay? But we don't generally move forward and above and beyond it, because going outside of the box means we have to concentrate harder, work harder with the brain. So this morning we shared a task or exercise that my father taught me years ago called SQ3R. S, Q, and 3 R's. S stands for survey, Q stands for question, R, the first R is read, the second R is recite, and the third R is review. And we went through that a little bit this morning. And of course, in the next few sessions of this week in classes and session, it's going to delve a little more and deeper into how we organize our thought process to make the things that we desire intentional and permanent. So a lot of what you saw and see and witness for yourself in the wealth building aspect, it becomes, it's exciting to be a part of. It's exciting to be in camaraderie with each other. If you notice in the Let's Go weekend exercise, for lack of a better term, many of us come for different reasons, but one main reason is to fellowship with each other. We can't wait to be around each other. We get excited. We stay excited. We don't necessarily learn anything, except how much we love being in each other's company. You know, there's some jewels that are dropped here and there, but we come together out of that excitement. All right. But generally, when we go back fired up and we bring people to the excitement. But what happens when we don't organize ourselves? I want to share with you a little bit on the process. Today I did the training, the fast track training on Gold Rocks at 2 p.m. I'll be on again tomorrow at 2 p.m. It'll be a daily exercise until we sort of get it. But here's another part of the wealth building, how you finance your freedom through your asset producing activities. What happens when you go get two? What happens when you get a package and you get two people to do exactly what you've done to get a package? I'm not necessarily talking about whether it's package number 4, 3, 2, 5, 6, or 7. That's not as relevant as it is to get a package that will allow that person to grow units and grow their income and grow their teams. What happens? Well, when you deal with two people, I didn't have time to put a chart together. I was doing a lot of 3-ways today, man. Y'all worked the brother today, man. You know, I was happy, but y'all worked the brother. I'll use this journal here. Okay. I'll hold it up this way. Oh, I can't write with that one. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find a Sharpie or, oh, what am I doing? I have my board. Hold on. Oh, yeah. We gonna learn today. All right. Okay, this is the best way I could do it. I got people blowing me up trying to get their 3-ways and their packages done, and all this buzzing is going on around me. And I'm trying to be good, you know, ignoring it and whatnot. This thing don't want to erase. I guess I had it on there just a tad too long. All right. So this is you the smiling face, because you got a package and you have your two people. System breaks them up left and right. Okay. If you have, if you're top heavy, if you have more on one side than the other, then everybody will default by the system, default to the side with the fewest people on your team. Okay. However, you got two. So your two is your first line because you directly sponsored, right? When they get two, that becomes your second line because they sponsored. And when they get two, that becomes your third line of sponsorship, and it continues like that. So let's say you work it every week. Okay, I know you can't see the full chart, but just bear with me. So let's say you worked it like that every week, and you got 5 lines. Okay. These 5 lines, family, represent your long-term incentive program. They represent your long-term incentive program. You want the car, you want the home, you want the bracelet, you want the pen, you want the bag, you want the watch. You want to build in depth. That's how you finance your freedom. The fast track is so easy. I can't show you the numbers on this stream, but in the subsequent trainings at 2 o'clock on Gold Rocks, you'll see. Because you're going to make commission on the first line, You're gonna make commission on the second line. You're gonna make commission on the third line. You're gonna get units from these lines, as well as the first three. You're gonna get units. All that's gonna build and give you additional payouts beyond your commission. Wait a minute. You have a multi-goal package, hopefully. So your generations down, you're gonna get matching bonuses when they get paid, and you're gonna get matching gold for every time they acquire a package in your line. How many generations down? How many packages do you have? How many teams do you have? See, our household pretty much works like this. In our household, talking about financing the dream now, okay? In our household, you have my wife. She sponsored me. I sponsored my business. She sponsored her business. We sponsored our children. So you roughly have 7 teams in that scenario. And those 7 teams represent 7 streams of income in one household. And when you properly grow your business and you are a business, you develop coffers, for lack of a better word. And when you work out of a certain principle of saving, then it allows you to continuously build. I'll go back to the stream. I'm going to show you something that we do in our wealth building exercise. I mean, not stream, but go back to the share. We're going to come back to Dr. Seitz's quote in a minute from Think Big. I have that on the screen as well. Let's see if I can find it. I'll come back to that in a second. When we first began in this effort, in week 2 of it, we talked about developing flow buckets. We had flow buckets, okay? And what did those buckets do? It allowed us to allocate how we would place our income in the household. See, when you take control of the one thing that we rarely had control of, that's a major, major, major victory. And the first thing I wanted us to see, and when we began this process, is showing how we can control the economy under our roof. We control everything else, but we don't control the economy under our roof. Generally speaking, we have to go outside the door, get in the car, go get to a job or to the employer, and we work. And that economy is controlled outside of the home. And we bring in whatever we can whenever it's made available. So we really don't have it. We traded the time for money, but truth, we gave away time and money. Okay. However, when you control what comes in the home, then you delegate. So there are percentages that we use. I'll show you what we use here, but we opened up and said the first thing we do is get on auto exchange. That's the first thing we do. We don't even see it. We just get on auto exchange. And then we start building with the remaining percentages this way. Okay. I'll show you what it looks like in one of the models in one of our homes. Just waiting for it to come up here. All right. So in the household, we operate off of the 30 rationale, the 30, 30, 20, 10, and 10. Okay, those are percentages. So we take 30% of whatever the total income is monthly. We move auto exchange 10% immediately. We don't even see it. And generally a gram of gold in the average household under the average income range works out to about that, or 2.5 grams of gold a month works out to about 10% of the average monthly income. Well, I'm talking about net, okay? But we deal like this. We'll send 10% here. That leaves 90%. 20% then comes down to cash gold, and out of that 20%, we'll split that percentage between cash gold and cash gold emergency fund. So the cash gold buildup here is a surplus buildup, okay? And the emergency fund is exactly what it is. It's your gold insurance, just in case. That's your emergency fund. What happens when the power goes out? You know, and you can't get to your CEMs. You want to have something on hand. You want to have something on hand that is liquid, that you can negotiate with, that you can govern things with. You want to have something on hand. So here we're saving our 10%, right? And then we take the 20% and split it between, we build it into cash gold, but then we determine within our households how much goes into the emergency account on the monthly, how much goes into just building monthly out of that 20%. Okay, then we come down to the dream account. 30% of it all goes into our dream account on a monthly basis. Well, what's our dream account? You see, my dream account is a legacy account. My dream account is 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, 10 million KBC coins before October 14th. That's my dream account. So I know we save a lot in cash gold, and I know that we're getting a lot of the packages, but I don't waver from intentional purpose. I don't waver from intention. So not to say those things aren't valid, they are valid, and I do get them where I can. I depend on the work and the effort of my second, third, fourth, and fifth generations of income to help me secure the packages that I would like to have. But in terms of what comes in, very structured, very deliberate. Auto exchange, cash gold, emergency fund. Now I'm in 30 percentile, the 30%. Now to mind you, there's still another 40% of income left. See, when you're deliberate about where you put your money, you realize how much you were wasting. You'll realize it when you start paying yourself first. You'll feel so good for what's amassing and what's building that you'll literally strive to find other things in your household that you can liquidate to secure you. Things you don't need. You ever move into a home and right when you get ready to move or after you move, you realize there was something you could have just thrown away. You didn't have to carry it with you from room to house or apartment to home or house to house. You know, I can't tell you how many times we've experienced it. And you get to a point where you have to purge or else you're seen as a hoarder, you know, in your own life, right? So when you deliberately allocate, it allows you the power of discernment. Is getting that $200 tie all that important right now, that $400 shirt? Is it all that important now to go out and get that gigantic chicken dinner when I can get all the ingredients and bring it in the home and eat off it for days? How about canning and preserving food? How about growing a home garden? How about storing our own waters? How about those kind of things as opposed to just spending and blowing it? You know, you become a lot more deliberate. So the dream account in our household, that's 30%. That's 30%. Now, then the remainder goes to regular bills, your charity, and then spending change for yourself. And you have it. You already have it. See, so, okay, now look, we got here 30% here, all right, in the dream account, 20% into the regular bills. And then in the 20%, you're saying, well, that's too little. Is it really? Because in week number 3, I believe, I'm sorry, 4, we talked about how to snowball debt. We took the smallest debt, eliminated it, and the payments we normally made to the smaller debt, we moved that up to the very next debt. And we worked on that along with the payment we already had allocated for it. What happened? We eliminated now another debt, and we keep working our way up. And as you work your way up, your wealth base builds. Your wealth base builds. Okay, so now that 20% you're putting towards regular bills, you can knock them all out if you like Deb and Ken Nixon did, or you can continue to build just like that on just that 20% tile, and the remainder, the rest of it that's beyond that, you can drop that into your dream account, or you can move that towards more gold, or you can do that in just your cash goal buildup. And then you come down to your charity. Your charity is where you want to give, who you want to give to, because charity builds character. Being charitable builds character. I have a lot of naysayers in the wealth building community. All of us do. You know, their family, our peers, our friends. And the reason why is because we all approach our dreams differently. They're not negative. They just do things their way. And I get it. I can dig it, right? So when I started Class in Session and asked for a gesture of $2, people say, man, you should be charging more than that. X, Y, and Z does conferences and they do so and so and such and such. Well, it wasn't my intention. My intention is to give over that which has benefited me, and I know it would benefit you if it's something that you're willing to embrace, right? So it was a gesture. It was a gesture because character is important. Collective character and organized collective character can move mountains. I wasn't trying to get us to be a part of an event. I was working to get us to be a part of a movement. Wealth building is an institution. It's a movement. I want an army of wealth builders. Not personally for me. I want a community of us that have secured our own lifestyle, secured our own dreams, secured our own community. So those naysayers, that's part and parcel of it. Okay. So the charity allows you now to build character. I consider to some extent, because I'm clear, I don't know it all, to some extent, I see what we do with Class in Session and what we do with 90-Day Run. I see it as a charitable act. I see the trainings that I'm a part of, you know, it can be looked on as a charitable act, but truth be told, I'm addicted to teaching. I'm addicted to sharing. It's an addiction. You know, I got to read that book, man. I got to read that book. I need a fix. Somebody give me an audio book, quick. Give me a live stream from Roz Range. Somebody help me. You know, I need my fix, right? So the character build is essential. Because when you do it with little and you manage little, imagine what you can do with much. It's very hard for somebody to see giving $1 million if they never gave 10. You know, where it doesn't affect you. Where you don't look for something back because you had it. Okay, y'all get that picture, right? All right, so let's move into this next portion to help you sort of, oh, that 10% there? Because, you know, when you add all this up, you still have another 10% left. That's your pocket. Because, you know, you got to maneuver, do things. You make room for yourself. You know, you make accommodations for yourself. It's okay. It's okay. You can go and get your toes did. You know, it's all right. It's all well, I don't know how all right it is in COVID, but you know, figure out some other thing to do. You know, but when you build and pay yourself first, you develop things. Now, when we first opened up this exercise, when we did class and not class and session, excuse me, the 90-day run, we identified some things in the very first week. We went from identifying spending and identifying surplus. How did we do it? I used the example of what would happen with me with cups of coffee, just something as routine as coffee, right? And I showed how I was spending $5 a day, 7 days a week on coffee. Well, that's $35. Did I need it? It only costs maybe $7 for coffee grounds that I can just put in the house and make my coffee on a daily basis or at my leisure instead of going to everybody's drive-through. I was being conservative about that $5 because truth be told, I didn't pull up the Dunkin' and not want to get a pastry with my coffee. my 5 absolutely turned into 12. Not even thinking about the gas I spent to get there. You know, then had the nerve to get mad when somebody else in the car wanted something. Oh, wait a minute. Or now I feel generous. You know, I'm big balling now. I'm gonna pull up there with my MasterCard and get me a coffee and a donut and get my wife a latte. Please. I think I'm doing something, right? We're going out today, baby. We're gonna go get something to eat. We're gonna wine and dine. Really? Yeah. Pull up to Starbucks. Please. Anyway. So when we identified the spending habit, now at once upon a time, $35 was a gram of cash gold. Think about it. When I was fasting 2 years ago, Ramadan season, that Ramadan season, my first Ramadan as a wealth builder, I was spending $3 a day on employee coffee, you know, because I had a job some time ago. Brother Clues, you know what I'm talking about. Used to have one of them things. And $3 3 times a day, that was $9 a day, 7 days a week. That was literally $63. That was a gram of gold at that time. And when I realized that, every day I took that gram of gold, or every week rather, that gram of gold, and it was on account. I made sure that I got a gram of gold to move that money out of my hands. I wasn't eating, I wasn't drinking, right? And then I started analyzing everything else that I was doing. Well, when I got stopped at the gas station, you know, I think it's so sinful when people go to a gas station to eat. God, dog, a gas station to eat. I mean, are we serious? I mean, they're elaborate now. I mean, it's like, almost like a one-stop shop. I went to the gas station. They got toiletries. They got motor oil next to tampons. You know, you know, it was a one-stop shop. You hear people come in there. Oh, why you in there? Go get me a so-and-so and such and such. But you went to pay for gas. Oh, they got bags of candies and all kind of treats. You can get all the accessories to make sure that you get your chargers. And we're so stingy, we'll go out there and get one of them cheap phone chargers, get the phone charger, and it goes out, the cord busts up before we even get back to the car. We got to buy another one. Where do we go? Back to the same one. Anyway, creatures of habit, right? So when I start looking at all the things that I was spending unnecessarily on, I started dumping it in cash gold. Financing your freedom. When, not cash gold, I'm sorry, classic gold at the time. Some cash gold, but mainly classic gold. So this is where financing the freedom came. That very next month was July. And there we are in July. It was July 11th. We were starting a new Karatbars month, and I was sitting there tabulating what expenses I had for that upcoming month, because we were doing a lot of traveling. Brother Carlito and I were going to all these cities, and I'm saying, okay, got to pay for this, got to pay for that. Okay, here's my unilevel bonus. I'll use the unilevel savings to pay for this. Oh, I got a little more there. I'll use it to pay for that. And I kept doing that while we were on the power call. And it turned out before I was called to speak on the power call, I literally had all my expenses covered just through the monthly unilateral saving. And I still had some money left. And check this out. We were still not yet paid for the week. We still had 3 more weeks of residual payments coming. And I had already taken care of the expenses through the monthly unilateral savings, a free gold savings account, a free position. This is why when we share in the presentation, what do? You sponsor 5 people to do as you do. You finance your dream, folks. You finance your dream. So when we did all that surplus searching, right? That surplus searching allowed us to identify and then move that spending habit to create the surplus. All right. So when we saw that we had more money than we thought, we didn't immediately put into something we like to do. We didn't immediately say, oh man, now we can go to that movie. Now we can check out that play. Now I know it probably would have gone over well in the moment, but we were moving everything over to make sure that we had something saved for that rainy day we thought we could save for with a job and with cash. When we learned that cash is not designed to save, then we moved it to an instrument that is. So we saved in gold, right? And we made daily deposits into cash gold, then loaded into our CaribPay wallet, because at the time, we had to hold the money in there for 8 weeks before we could move it through the CaribPay system. Now that hold is still there, it hasn't been released yet, but we don't necessarily need that right now because of how we've advanced in our wealth building activities, right? So we've done all these things out of objective, and we accomplished a lot. We accomplished some tremendous victories in the world of saving. And because of those victories, we come back each week because we've learned some things. So I want to share a couple of notes, and then we'll open the lines for everyone just before we get ready. Those who are trying to get to the unilevel training, Mr. Roger Williams is doing a unilevel training tonight at 8 p.m. on goldrocks.info, okay? What would your world be like if you had no payments? Think about it. No credit card payments, no house notes, no home equity loan payments. What would your world be like? See, in this wealth building scenario, that's what happens when you build with intention. When you organize yourselves, when we organize ourselves, we end up with a permanent structure, an eternal structure that allow things to be in place and remain. I don't have the slide up this evening, but that 2020 Paper to Gold Run to Wealth Conference coming up is very critical to that very question I asked. What would your world be like if you had no payments? What would it be like with no credit card payments, no house notes, home equity loan payments? What would it be like? We have strategies. I hear you, Roz. I can read them lips, Cookie Mama. I saw what you said. Hallelujah. Look, we have strategies. How many, you can just type in the chat, me. How many of you were with us when Mr. Tony Chambly came on and did the private presentation here on the Run to Wealth program, when you got a sneak peek into what the wealthy do? You see, we learned some things that night. We learned some powerful tools of what the wealthy use. Well, you're going to get a little more intricate aspect of it on the 22nd. You know, when you look at how to protect and secure your future. Some of you are told about one day I was called on an assignment to accompany a brother driving a detail in New York City, and it was a security detail, you know, with the FOI, and I'm riding. And I'm in the car. The brother gets out the car to go to the lobby for his aspect of the detail, and I'm staying with the car. And then the other brothers come out and they open the car door, and the brother jumps in and they close the car door, and it's Michael Jackson. You know, now I'm staunch FOI, but yeah, I lost my bird. Ah, it's Michael! You know, right? Okay. He doesn't get in with the, how you doing, brother? Sir, don't talk to me, Negro. None of that. He just got in and said, I had the most amazing conversation with Nelson D. You know, those Rockefellers really know what they're talking about. And he started talking to me about private trust and living wills. And I didn't know what the hell he was talking about because I was too busy in my mind talking about, it's Michael Jackson. I don't believe this. You know, I wasn't getting, but look now, here's the power of the mind. I didn't recall any of that. Then coming into wealth building, it all made sense. See, the subconscious catches it all. The conscious don't entertain it because it's not something that, it was easy for the subconscious just to absorb it because it wasn't doing nothing with it. It was just taking it in. And then the moment it had a possibility of being used, the subconscious kicks it out into your conscious activity. This is deep, man. I'm telling you, God is perfect in his make. So he's talking to me about these things. And then he had to, I'm not the nerve. He said, isn't it exciting? And I said, yes, sir. Absolutely is. And I would go on, thank Allah, to meet him and see him a few times since that point before his transition and some of his family. But man, you know, you just you don't know how connected you are in everything everything has a connection. Nothing is wasted. I remember Jim Rohn saying something to the effect of, he broke down when people say, hey man, what's going on? And you say, everything is everything. Now, he wasn't exposed to that particular terminology, I don't think, but I interpreted it, and he started sharing in this one presentation. He started talking about how everything means everything. Everything means everything. And there'll come a point where you will realize that nothing you're exposed to is wasted. There comes a point in life where no experience is a true bad experience. It's leading to another stage. Now, mind you, I'm not saying those experiences may not be traumatic. It's not the same thing. What I'm saying is you'll experience a hardship or an extreme, and there's a lesson that will come out of it over time. If you give yourself time and reflection, it will show itself. Just like if you give yourself time to succeed in this opportunity, it will show itself. Same principle, same principle. Everything is everything. So how do we organize? I hinted at this a little bit this morning, but in terms of our financial well-being, be deliberate about where you put your money and mean it. Mean it. Make the conscious work hard. And the more you're deliberate about your action, the more second nature it becomes. And it's no longer hard. It'll fall back into the recess of the mind and make room for another challenge, another conscious challenge. All right. We didn't always save. We didn't save, the majority of us, until we came into a program like Wealth Builders Worldwide. I didn't know what it was to save money. You know, I was 60 years old and didn't have a pot to pee in or a window to throw it out of. You know, now I have so much, well, now I'm doing better. Okay. because I learned how to maintain deliberance. Be deliberate about your pursuit. Be consistent in it and keep yourself aligned with like minds. I don't even hear doubters. I don't even hear naysayers. I used to hear Mr. Best say things like, man, I know people out there saying something, but truth be told, they don't ever come to me, Eric. You know, he said, they saying something, but I just keep doing what I'm doing. I keep saving gold. I tell everybody I can. 98.6 and breathing. You know, and here's a true point. We do a three-way yesterday, myself, Mr. Best, and Miss Yvonne Busy Bird. And we're on this three-way. It turns out that Miss Bird signed up a person who is a owner of a software company, who they known each other for 30 years. All right. She took it upon herself to talk to him about Karatbars. He was interested, he said, because for the last 2 years, every 2 or 3 days, he receives a text from a dude named Ty Best. Mr. Best has been texting this man for 2 solid years. And Mr. Best got on the phone with her just to say, hey, you stole a good one there. He said, I tell everybody I'm Johnny Appleseed. For 2 years, he was in the DMV, Mr. Best, Mrs. Best, and the children, you know, Gabe and Alex, they all went to the DMV a couple of years ago before I came into Karatbars. And they were there for an event with either the Union or Team Freedom. And they were now leaving the event, and he got in his car to leave, and this brother pulls up in this brand new Porsche. You know, brand new white Porsche with this Palomino interior. He said he'd never forgot it. He said, Val, I gotta go talk to him. She said, you'll talk to everybody? Yeah, I'll talk to everybody. I gotta go talk to him. He gets out of his car, goes over to the gentleman, and he said, I'm paraphrasing, hey man, I'm always looking for sharp people, and I can tell by the look of this car, you qualify. And gave him a card and got his number. And he talked about how he had a software company. He said, well, I'm all right financially, man. I don't need to look into anything else. He said, you probably are. I can tell by the car, but I'm quite sure you know somebody who can use it. You know, and that started the relationship. The man gave him his number, gave Mr. Best his number. He put it in his phone, and he said he might have talked to him twice in the last 2 years, but all he's ever done every day or every other day is continuously texting him, plugging him in, talking about activities. The man didn't even go to a power call. He didn't go to any of it. He didn't pay it, but he kept the text message coming. He never said don't stop. And he never said stop, rather. And then here comes Yvonne Bird walking into his life, 30 years of knowing each other. And she's like, hey, how do you protect your money? She said, I protect mine in gold. Woke him right on up. He signed his son up, signed his business up. I'm telling you, this thing takes off because it's about the seeds you plant. It's about being deliberate. I'm deliberate because I know that it doesn't hurt me to help others build their team because we all win. It saturates a market. And I'm going to walk into somebody who's going to know me for Karatbars because Clues always talked about it, or Miss Tyson always talked about it, or Jocelyn always talked about it, or Patricia always talked about it, and I might be that one they sign up with, and that's okay. Show you how it works. Miss Yvonne Busy Bird, she signed up with me, and we didn't know each other. She learned about the opportunity through another affiliate in our organization. And because they never invited her, and she showed up on one of our streams and didn't know how she got there and didn't know who invited her, well, I extended the branch. And I'm enjoying the ride. Right now, the momentum is building so strong, family. I have to sit down most of the time. I need chairs with wheels on them because all the weight building on my legs is, I get sprained knees, my ankles get sore, all that weight that everybody's building by getting these packages and saving in gold. Boy, this weight is traumatic. I need a therapist. You will too when you're deliberate about your intentions. Be deliberate. All right, I think I expressed enough. Family, we're going to open it up for anybody who has anything they'd like to share. You have the power to unmute yourself, I believe. So just go on and try it. See if it works. Hey, Mr. Cox. Well, hey, Sister Joy. I mean, there's a bunch of folk talking now. Okay, it does work. All right.
Yeah. Hey, Brother Eric.
Yes, ma'am.
Of course, I wasn't there at the beginning of this class, but it's possible for you to do another 90-day run after this. And my second question is, could you text me your Cash App account, please?
Woo! Boy, talking like that. Roz, what kind of affiliate you got here?
Awesome. That's what don't join us, man.
Thank you, Ms. Joy. I'll be sure to text the app. We are going to do another set of 90-day run.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. We are going to do another one. It'll probably be announced a couple of weeks after the conference and expo that's coming up next Saturday, a week from Saturday. And we will be doing another one. And it'll follow some of the same tenets, but there'll also be a more advanced training, a cubicle advanced training, because of what you're going to be exposed to on the 22nd and the need to continue that growth. So we're very excited, and we're really excited. We got a lot of things coming that, and God has been really good to us in helping to make it happen. And even more importantly, it doesn't just rest on one person. Everybody has something to contribute to the activity of helping us be better people and better servants. So yes, there will be another 90-day run. It'll be announced, but I'm almost positive it'll begin a couple of weeks after the upcoming conference on the 22nd. And I'll text you the Cash App. Thank you so much, sister.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Hey, Miss Tyson with that $1 billion smile. I'm gonna call you out. How you doing there, sister?
I'm blessed, sir. I'm blessed. Thank you so much.
Thank
you hit home today with the being deliberate, because I was just, as soon as you said it, I thought about my father and how he taught me about saving. And he used to tell me, I started cleaning homes when I was 12. So I started bringing in close to about $600 a week, cleaning houses on the weekend. And he said, what you want to do with it? And I'm like, I don't know. So he started showing me white envelopes with black writing. And he said, I want you to put in all the things that you want. And I would write on those envelopes what I wanted and put it in there. And I would sector them out. And so he always remembered to tell me, oh yeah, pay your tithes, you're going to give an offering. And then after that, you're going to add in and do for yourself, and that taught me a lot about being deliberate on how I was going to save my money. And as I began to, get older and get my own place and start focusing on, paying rent and stuff, I never had a problem, because I always was kind of deliberate on that. Woo. And I saw, basically that you're like when you said, be, deliberate on it. It really hits home for me, because I saw my dad pay cash for our house. And that was pretty powerful, and, for us to be going through this now and that man, Miss, what was her name who said, how do you protect your money? I mean, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Yvonne said, how do you protect your money?
I'm using that. That's it, because, we got to be deliberate in how we protect our money. And this is just, just what an amazing message today. This was awesome. I know, we went over this morning, but tonight, it just really it's a whole nother message in itself, you know.
Oh, we thank you. We thank you, sister.
Well, you bless us every time.
We thank you. I'm just a reflection of all of you.
No.
There's nothing special about this, brother. I can tell you straight up, you know, I come up out of hell like everybody else. Ain't no man out of heaven from me, you know. And I'm just very clear that there's nothing new under the sun, you know. And I come along, just like we're getting in the way of money, we're getting in the way of truth.
Yeah.
And if we're willing to leave ourselves open to receive it, it'll come. And when it unearths the particular skill set that God has given any individual, then it'll come out in its time. You know, what you do through your radio programs and the coup that was pulled to pull you over to California radio, listen, that's also evident of the same thing as part and parcel. So, you know, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Hey, if you don't have range, you don't have rods. What you got for us, sister?
I mean, I'm thankful and grateful to be here, Brother Eric, Master Teacher, because this is just like when I first was knew about gold. I was 63. Okay, now I'm 68. Now we have an opportunity to learn, you guys, about trust, about protecting our wealth and our assets. Everybody, please, for $11, you got to go to get your tickets now, like yesterday, for this event that is coming up, because this been kept from us for so long, you guys. We've been, you know, bamboozled about the, you know, probate codes and all this stuff, giving everybody else our money. Now we have an opportunity to control our money, our assets, and protect it, and our families. And I want to thank you, brother, for bringing all these wonderful people together. And then, you know, I love all of y'all. I'd be going on and on, but I just had to say that because, see, just to talk to a trust attorney or anybody like that, you coming out of your pocket $300 something or more. So this is real, you guys. I mean, from my heart, you know, I just wanted to share that and thank all of you, and God bless you. Back to you. You know, that's all I got to say.
Thank you, Roz. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Brother Cluis.
Hey, Brother Eric. Hey, thank you so much for playing the video again tonight, because this morning I had it on and I heard some of it, but I had a doctor's appointment this morning. You know, I had an event last week, so I have to get those doctor's appointments more regular now. Because I had an event.
Yes, sir.
That event was a birthday, you know, so.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, all hungover, bless your heart. I saw pictures of some of that, but let me stop. Never mind. Go ahead.
But no, I do appreciate it. All the class, everything, man. In the classes in session, 90 days, all of them are just fabulous. I love them all. I love everything you do. Like I said, you know, I follow you to anywhere you want to go, man. I just love everything you do. And I just appreciate it. And just enjoy it, man.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Here I am thinking about, man, how can I be more like Cluis and Roz and so many others? And, you know, and y'all throwing it back at me. It's like volleying over the net. We'll come back. I'm going to find a way to get that accolade back to you. Watch and see. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Anyone else? Hey, Sister Marie Cleveland.
Hi, this is my first time talking, but Roz is my sponsor, first of all, and I truly, truly thank her. She's a blessing. And I truly, truly enjoy your 90-day run for wealth. It's been so informative. I missed one class and that was it, but I truly, truly, truly enjoy you, Eric. You're a godsend. And I appreciate you. Thank you so very much.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. And I thought I was doing something when I was finally able to accept your friend request. I was dumping folks off like, like it was nobody's business, and finally got you in.
Thank you.
Go Marie, go Marie.
Yep.
Thank you, Roz, my friend and sister.
Oh, listen, you just reminded me of something. Hang on just a second, Sister Patricia. I see you chiming in. Just give me 1 second. You reminded me of something. Family, we are a family. So I really feel compelled to say this. Over the last few months, there have been a handful of people who reached out to me and asked me if I would sponsor them because they were offering the opportunity, or help to guide them and instruct them in some principal things that they did not know before. And that part of that is the impetus for what we do with Classes in Session. I want those of you who do know your sponsor to talk to him or her and let them know your needs, and let's see if they can really help you. All right. About maybe 2.5 weeks ago, a gentleman came to me and wanted me to sponsor him. He's already under someone else, and he's been in Karatbars for a few years. But you're doing things, and he's not. And look, I want to protect. I want to grow. I want to come with you because I know that you're doing things. Well, I'm not doing anything different than any of you. So why would you really want to come to me? Is it that you think I'll do it for you? I want us to understand it's about integrity. It's about integrity. Now, there are times where you will find yourself positioned where you are that help for that next person. There will be moments where you have to, you weigh them, and if someone feels they can develop better under you, and you weigh the factors, oh, yeah, well, okay, I'm sure there's room for it, but make sure that they've checked with their sponsor and had a conversation. And if they have not, then I would advise you strongly don't embrace that, because it sets up something down the road that I don't think any of us intend or want. Let's continue to work together as we're doing. Now, mind you, the people I'm talking about aren't a part of the runs. These are people who have found me as a result of the different streams, the various streams I do. I'm on social media 6-7 times a day. I'm sorry. I told you I was addicted. I love it. But so that's the response they came with. Some circumstances I can understand where they're coming from. But I'm listening for what they're not saying. I try to listen for what they're not saying, because someone did that for me and helped me to be better about and be more deliberate about what I wanted for myself and get out of the slave idea of having others do for me what I can do for myself. So I just felt compelled to share that in that moment. And that's my little soapbox. Hey, Trish, what's going on with you?
I'm doing.
What you concocting over? You in your lab, so you're not showing yourself. I know you blowing up something over there.
Yeah, I'm doing something. You just don't know. If it wasn't for you, I probably would have just left off, not doing anything, because I know I'm under one of your high powers, but I'm not in his direct line. I don't think anyway. But the person that did sponsor me doesn't know anything. And he sponsored me because he knew I would go and look for the answers. But I hardly talk to him. So my thing is, I'm a leader, and I know I can bring other people in that can help it. So my thing is, I follow you because of how we met. I met you at a very vulnerable time in my life with the passing of my grandmother and some other, and my soulmate, I say.
Mm-hmm.
But when you came and you spoke, you didn't hold back. You embraced. You just a person I want to hear. I can't listen to everybody if I know you don't stumble. You say, you're precise in what you say, and I appreciate it. and I can't you do something different every day. I'm one that can't constantly hear the same thing over and over. I do try to listen to all the other things. I do get on, but it's not something I can do every day. I can't hear it over and over. I don't know. I just don't listen. I just be on and it'll be playing because I know that it's important to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, I'm never at home. I'm always out and about. I'm never just sitting. So, but the time you come on is good for me, even though I missed this morning.
See, now you shouldn't have told. I didn't read the Maui's attendance report today, so.
But I always go back and listen to it, and I always share it. And I got somebody that's going to sign up because he goes back and listen to your talks. He said he just can't go on live because if he come on live, you're gonna say his name or welcome. He said he don't
mess him up.
He don't want the attention. He don't want that type of attention. So I said, okay. So when I put him in, I'll just say I have a new person, but I won't say his name.
All right. I just got a message from Sister Maui. She's on the YouTube platform. She says, I'm watching you on YouTube and I love you all. Don't know where I would be right now without my lifelines.
Right. And that's another thing. The group that we in, if it stopped, I wouldn't know what to do with myself because I feel like this is a family. And
that's
if
why,
it stops,
that's why
I'll
we
be like
keep building.
lost.
That's why we keep building, to duplicate ourselves and others, to reproduce ourselves and others. So the family remains eternal, remains permanent, because that's what organization does. It
That's why
permanent.
I always try to say thank you in so many different ways so it don't sound the same.
Thank you, Queen. We appreciate you.
Brother Eric.
Yes.
This is Joy again.
Mm-hmm.
In reference to what you were saying, that person was talking about they wanted you to sponsor them.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that you have a lot of integrity about you. And integrity, one thing about integrity, it does the right thing even when no one else is around. And I appreciate that about you, because the person that brought me in, Roz is my upline.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank God for her, but I'm not going to put down the person that brought me in, because one thing about it, gold continues to rise up. And so we know that no matter what, I can go to this person, I can keep going to that person, I can keep going to that person, but integrity within myself will not allow me to go out and bash my sponsor. And I appreciate that about you, because you're teaching that person, because if a person can't begin to have respect for someone, guess what? That flows down to your business. So I just want to tell you that I appreciate the fact that with the God inside of you, you heard some stuff that person did not say. And the enemy of success, the enemy that can impact your success from someone's trying to pour into you some of their stuff. I just like the fact that you're just a person of character. And again, I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be on this site at this moment in this time. And I love me some Roz Range.
All praise due to Allah. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I've been exposed to a lot. I've come up with under some tremendous greats, and Mr. Best has poured into me like he's poured into you all in ways that I can't even explain, and he's helped me to understand the power of the inner ear, to listen to the things that aren't said, to hear the things that aren't said, to see the things that aren't shown. It takes a tremendous skill, but it's even greater of a skill when you can transfer it in other people. And that's a particular power that Mr. and Mrs. Best have mastered. I mean, think about it. 37 years of freedom, and he's been saying the same thing. They've been saying the same thing for 37 years. And not saying anything different to someone that they, I mean, what's shared with me today is nothing different than what's shared with Cluis and Jocelyn and Trish and Vernon. I mean, nothing different, you know, but he's able to replicate those value systems in everyone. So Sister Joy, I thank Allah for all those that came before me that helped me to be better and hear some of the things and do some of the things. And that whole enemy of success, I mean, that piece we went through last week, this joker right here.
Yes.
Oh man. And it is in production, by the way. Mr. and Mrs. Best confirmed that they're working on that and the other 2 books to keep in circulation and update them. So I want to thank you all for making that happen, because if we weren't putting it under study and we weren't talking about it and we weren't reflecting it in our attitude, then it might have stayed in the library of his home. So yeah, thank you, Sister Joy. All right, family, we're at 7:37. Yes, ma'am. Anyone else care to share?
Yes, you might as well give everybody else your cash app if they can have it.
You funny. Hey, Sister Nikki Knox.
Hi, how you doing, Brother Eric? I just wanted to say that I know I can't even explain to you, once I started getting on the classes in session and following a lot more that you were doing, how much you helped me with trying to get on track the way I wanted to be. I'm one of those orphans. My sponsor, like Miss Joy said, I wouldn't put him down, because without him, I wouldn't even be in Karatbars. So I would never do that. But I want to grow. I want to grow my team, and I want to build what I'm trying to build. And truthfully, if I didn't have the tenacity that I have, that I'm not a quitter, I would have given up, because I've been like orphan, like I said, but I refuse to give up. My whys mean more to me than me ever giving up.
Teach.
And just being on the classes and everything, I felt like I can get so much from you. You know, the things that I'm missing, the things that I'm weak at, you can help me with figuring out what I need to do to get me where I need to be, because I'm kind of lost and I want to get on track. And that's really all I wanted to say. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Wow. All praise due to Allah. I thank you. And of course, I still owe you another phone call, Sister Nikki, because I each time I reached out, I know you were involved with a situation a couple of days ago that didn't allow us to speak. And I call myself getting back to you, and I want to say that I'm good with memory, but I'm only as good as we're designed to be. That's why you gotta write everything down, folks. You gotta write everything down. So I am coming to you.
I know you will. That's not even a question of mine. It's just timing and being, having the right time to set up. That's all. I know you ain't for good.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this. I knew you weren't a quitter. There's something about your pictures. I've been to your Facebook page. I'm not a stalker.
Just a little bit.
I do visit our pages. Those of us that are friends of each other, those of us who are involved in the interaction of the classes and what we do as wealth builders. I look for us because I want I want a friends list of wealth builders. I want my 5,000 on my personal page to be all us. You know, I do. You know, and I look for things that help me to help you all, and I look for things that help me to be better. And there's something about your, you know, we talk about posture a lot. You know, and Sister Nikki, you have a very determined one. It's just resolute. It shines out of you. I mean, it oozes out of you, you know, and you're a very strong woman, very strong, you know, and you know, I want to say spirit knows spirit, you know,
That's
and
true.
I can't say that
That's
I fully
true.
know everything about each of us, and I'm sure there's a lot about me that y'all wish you never find out. But I do study some of the pages, the party poses that people take, you know,
What up, baby?
the jailhouse poses and all that good stuff, you know. And I appreciate all of it. Okay, I see the resident imam has just checked in, Brother Vincent Muhammad. Oh, matter of fact, I have an interview with him tonight at 9 o'clock on Kalfani Radio Facebook page, my Gold is Gold show. Tuesdays are a huge day for me, folks. It's from can't see to can't see, you know, but I'm very happy that they exist. Hey, Brother Vincent.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Eric.
Wa
How are you,
alaikum
sir?
salam. Great, thank Allah. Yourself?
I'm very well. Excuse me for being incognito, man. I was having some construction done and the guys were here, so you know,
All right.
screen out. Yes, sir. Doing very well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, beloved. Thank
And
you.
thank you for a wonderful class and session this morning, and also this training this evening, man. Is I got lots and lots of notes, brother.
All praise due to Allah. Notes are essential because they help us to do.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. And
Thank
I see
you.
I see the incomparable brother Amar Berry in the set. I like that boob. I like that shirt you there wearing there, Doc. You know, and brother, that clip, I think you were there with us at the Slave Theater when Kwame spoke. That particular presentation that I showed.
Yeah, I've been around a few times when your father spoke.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just want to get my VIP, man. That's my primary goal, to get my VIP. I'm gonna be straight up. I mean, all the other packages are cool. I understand, you know, the multi-pack 4 and all that. I want to get a VIP. That's what I want to get, man.
You brought out another note that I wrote.
Me too.
So you're right. You brought out a note, Amar. The note says it's about intent. Intend to find something and you will find it. The universe, as Mr. Dalco says often, the universe conspires on your behalf. You know? So if you intend for it, you will it, you'll draw it in. The law of attraction belongs to those who embrace the law of abundance. You know, so you will it in because it's a part of your birthright.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that response, but the intent. If you intend for it, it'll be, you know, God says in the scriptures of Quran, is in Arabic, it says kun fayakun, which means be and it is. He wanted light, light was there. He wanted darkness, he split the day and the night. You know, by how? Just willing it, be. And if you're created and we're created as a direct descendant in his image and his likeness, that means we also have that ability. How many of you have walked into a space and said, hey, wait a minute, I've been here before? And they call it deja vu.
Me.
That is your power and ability to see into the future.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's the God power in you. Some of us have quieted that spirit because we were afraid of it, because we weren't taught that we possessed it. There are people who could see in the future. They are seers. And they'll say, no, God, please take that away from me. And then they live in regret the rest of their life when they realize the gift they had. I mean, this is, Yeah, yeah. You intend for it. It's happening.
Yeah, it is gonna happen.
Look, I intended for Falami to be my wife, and all I saw was the back of her head. She was wearing a gele, a turban. When I met her, I met the back of her head. You know, she's shorter than me, and she was working in this photo lab. So all this equipment was there, and all you saw bobbing across that equipment was this wrapped headpiece. This headpiece is going back and forth like that, right? And I walked by in Washington, D.C. I'm walking to the final call office. I looked to my left, and all I saw was this wrapped head. I said, oh my God, I got to meet that woman. I'm going to marry that woman. I didn't see her face. I hadn't seen no skin, nothing. Hey, intentions deep. You know, our anniversary comes up. Matter of fact, our anniversary is the day of the conference, August 22nd. Wow. No wonder she's been mad with me. That's also Rodney Berger and Cindy Berger's anniversary, August 22nd.
Mine is the 23rd.
Is that right, Rhea?
Mine is the 23rd of August, yes.
Wow.
Mine's the 31st. Mine's the 31st.
Yours and what?
Remember the 31st.
Yeah, I was at yours. Yeah, man, we just need to have we'll do something. We'll figure out something.
Yeah. Mine is the 31st too.
Who else is 31st?
Wow.
Nikki Knox.
Get out of here.
Yep, August 31st. And my daughter was born on August 21st. August means a lot to me.
August 21st. My daughter is August 21st.
Wow.
See?
My daughter Imani, she's August 21st. And my in-laws' anniversary was the 21st of August.
Wow.
My in-laws was the 18th and the 25th of August.
Good
and my
gracious.
anniversary fell in between.
Good gracious.
So yes.
Boy, this is some kind of month. And it's Black August too. Black August is a movement celebration.
Okay.
You know? And there's great revolutionaries that were born in this month. Emil Cabral, August 13th, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Fidel Castro. I mean, all these revolutionaries came in. Well, don't get me started. See, Amos, your shirt, you did it. It's your fault.
Hip hop today, the anniversary of hip hop.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. That's right. In fact, have y'all, man, we're still talking. I'm sorry, y'all. But have you seen the YouTube put out by Heroes of Hip Hop Parts 1 and 2, DJ
Cassidy.
Yes, Cassidy.
I sent it to you last night, bro.
yeah, bro. I went through 1 and 2. No, I knew I got it from you, and I saw what else you sent with the Grand Boo Boo and everything, but Facebook had me blocked, so I couldn't respond. I was seeing all the messages, the text messages, and I don't know where you got that picture from.
Oh.
But you know, yeah, man, that Cassidy piece was deep. It was deep. You sent me part 2. I went and found part 1 also. I went through it, got to see some of our homies, because what can we say? What can we say? Yeah, it is the anniversary. And as a matter of fact, Amar, you might remember. Y'all remember this book?
Yeah.
Nation Conscious Rap, the hip hop, the hip hop vision. This was the first encyclopedia of rap.
Oh, I got to get that one.
This was the very first book written and published. Brother Yusuf Jah, Joe Spady, Brother Richard, I don't know why I'm guessing when I can just look in the book, and me. And we put this together and published it. First interviews of Chuck D, Flav, Sister Soldier, KRS-One, Dougie Fresh.
Is that book out of print?
Kwame.
Back when hip hop was hip hop.
Yeah. It was, and then you remember A&B bookstores in Brooklyn? They bootlegged one. They grabbed one and did a reprint of it and put out thousands and put it in their pocket. but it was okay with us because it gave birth to Nelson George. You see, there's Sister Soldier. Y'all remember Sister Soldier? Lisa Williamson? Female member of Public Enemy. My sister Sharima was also Public Enemy. Just signed a member of Public Enemy to carry bars today. Anyway, family, we out of here.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk.
Thank you all.
Much love to everyone.
Yes. Go Rocks now for anyone that wants to join the unilevel training with Mr. Roger Williams, the big pill. He'll be there. And see, I'm not, they are calling me, they are blowing this phone up. It's gonna be a Dre day. Hint, hint, hint. All right, family. Peace and power. Forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Power.
Thanks,
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Ahoo.
Ahoo.
Ahoo.